Oh my god. Galan is just wrecking everyone, which was going to be quite obvious. But, I mean, oh my god. Like, the wrecking that is happening in this chapter of Taizai. A lot worse than I thought. Like, did you see what was happening to Meliodas? He was getting skewered like a shish kebab in this entire chapter, man. Galan's just like, just raised him up. He's like, are you really Meliodas? And I have a fury to add on to that in a second. But just this chapter, straight to the point, very simple. Galan just OP and wrecking the Sins like it's nothing. He's like, what you guys doing? Like, what's these flies doing here? And you know, he's powered down. Let's think about this, okay? He is powered down. This is not his maximum. And he's doing shit like this. He's just destroying the Sins. Merlin's like freaking out, like, at the end. Did you see Merlin? She was like shitting bricks at the end of the chapter. Like, her face. She was scared. Like, she was absolutely scared because this dude, Galan, just jumps miles to get out of the radius of what Merlin was doing to teleport him. He jumps miles in under a second. Holy crap. Oh my god. So, just this dude is fast. That's one thing I want to say right now. He's very fast. And for Merlin to kind of be freaking out, that's not good. It really isn't. Because Merlin's always had, you know, kind of an atmosphere, an aura about her to where she's always smiling or she has, you know, different thoughts or schemes going on in the background. And to see how Merlin at the end of the chapter was like freaking out, yeah, it just goes to show you how dire this situation is. So, Escanor, where are you, man? Escanor, we really need you right now. We really need the Escasson to save the day because right now, it's not looking too hot. It's really not. Like, I don't think at this moment there's any way possible to win against Galan unless Meliodas goes into his demon form. That's the only way I could see this being fine. But now we know Merlin had took something from Meliodas in the past. We know that. And with the way Galan was talking in this chapter, it's quite obvious, once again, it's hinting at what Merlin took from Meliodas in the past. Because you had it to where Galan's like, are you really Meliodas? And he's just skewering Meliodas, and he's just stabbed straight through the gut and all that. And he's asking that question. And from what you can pull out of that panel is that Meliodas is nowhere near as strong as he thought. Like, Meliodas seems like he's a child or a baby compared to how he thought he was. And so, you can assume Meliodas is not at maximum potential, which is quite obvious. It really is. So what I have to say about this is that Merlin most likely took Meliodas' power, like his control over his demon form or something like that, and when Merlin gives it back, Meliodas will be able to use his power, and he might be able to win against Galan. So, I think that's what's probably going to happen in the next couple chapters. Regardless of that, though, it's just insane. Like, I mean, this is probably one of the weakest 10 commandments. I mean, this is the first commandment we get to see in action, and it's quite obvious that he's probably going to be the weakest out of all 10. And it's just still scary to see how this dude's doing that amount of devastation. Like, he just wiped the town out like it was nothing. Like, he just does this, and you just see the town just flatten like a wasteland. I'm like, whoa! Just, it's fucking crazy, because he just wiped this, like, area of the town and just flattened it like a wasteland or something. Like Dragon Ball Z, kind of. And so, yeah, I'm kind of freaking out right now. Like, I'm kind of hyped, too. I'm like, oh my god, this dude is just strong. Just, like, wow. Oh yeah, I want to point out something, too, when it came to this chapter. If you noticed, Merlin put a barrier on Elizabeth and Arthur. Merlin did that. And it just goes to show you how much Merlin cares for Arthur to do something like that, because we've already seen a demonstration of Merlin's, you know, shield with Albion and stuff like that. We've already seen a demonstration of how strong it is, and as I've already talked about once before, about 4 or 5 chapters back, I said that if Merlin could concentrate her shield into one area, it can block some crazy shit. It definitely can, and so it's kind of obvious how Merlin was able to block that type of attack from Galan when, you know, Arthur's getting hit by the blast, and so was Elizabeth. So, makes sense, but I just want to point out, it's just interesting how Merlin went out of her way to put a shield on Arthur and Elizabeth. It just goes to show you she does care about Arthur. So I wonder what kind of connection we're going to eventually get between those two characters later on down the road, like how they eventually met. I want to see that. I do want to see a backstory of Merlin, of how she met Arthur. I really do. That's something I've been wanting to know about for quite a long time. Like, what's the reason why Merlin was helping out Arthur? I mean, why was Merlin with Arthur? There's a lot of questions I have to wonder. Hopefully, Nakaba-sensei will eventually get to that later on down the road. But moving past that point, the chapter, very solid, very simple, straight to the point, just the Sins getting the shit knocked out of them, and Galan just showing those feats that he can just wipe the freaking town off the face of the map. So yeah, tell me your thoughts. I mean, how do y'all feel about this? I mean, what do you think is going to happen? Do you feel like Escanor is going to be reappearing very soon to be able to save their asses? Do you feel like Merlin's probably going to get back whatever she stole from Meliodas, and Meliodas is going to be able to fight him? Let me know your thoughts. You all have a wonderful day or not wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.